Permaculture Part 3. We know what climate change is doing, but we don't know what is going to be the end game. Climate change at the moment is very much about handling those different species in a way that works for us or doesn't work for us. We are lucky in the UK in that we can grow most things, but at the end of the day, if we don't understand what species we can grow in whatever shape or form, then we're going to be in a situation where we'll be growing the wrong things. You know, they're now sort of almost saying we probably could grow rice. Now, I'm not sure many of us want to be growing rice in our back gardens, but the concept of that not needing to have wet paddy fields because we're getting enough rain to keep the rice growing, I certainly would never have anticipated that when I was a child. And we're still, you know, things are changing so rapidly. We don't know where it's all going to lead. So I'm just going to read through the different principles again as a conclusion. But essentially, the first one was to observe and interact with nature and the site. Second one was to catch and store energy. Third one was obtain a yield. Fourth, apply self-regulation and accept feedback. 5, value and use and value renewable resources and services. 6 was produce no waste. 7, design from patterns to details. 8 was integrate rather than segregate. 9 was use small and slow solutions. 10 was use and value diversity. 11 was use edges and value the marginals. And 12, creatively use and respond to change. So I think, you know, there's a lot in that. There's a lot we can absorb. A lot of it comes down to our personal site and our personal preferences for how we want to do things. But I think they're a good set of bases for anything. They talk about organic, they talk about soil regeneration, it talks about all of the facets of reuse and recycle. It talks about planting things consistently and integrating both people and wildlife, plants with your whole environment. And I guess one of the things that appeals to me most about permaculture, if you take a grandparent with a nice garden or a decent sized garden, incorporating these ideals and passing them on to the grandchildren, growing some, you know, having a patch in the garden where the grandchildren can grow things. You can keep an eye on them and keep them going when they're not visiting. It's all that sort of, you know, you can balance all of these things out, but at the end of the day, it does need to be something that works for you, works for the environment, hopefully, and ultimately gives us some real benefit. And you know, and I'm really coming back to that idea of the yield again, because I think if we can all grow something, A, it reduces food miles, B, it increases our national resilience, our personal resilience. You know, have you got water butts? Have you got a compost heap? Have you got have you got a place where the birds can drink? All these little things, they don't need to be huge, but they give you a mosaic of places to go and things to do. And, you know, you'll get more pleasure out of your garden by these diverse things. So please, do like, share and subscribe, and please pass some comments. There's a lot in this set of videos because I'm going to have to split this up because YouTube won't let me put anything up that's too large. So yeah, I think this is an interesting topic. It's one that's fundamental to what I do. After a while, you do some of these things almost instinctively. When I went back to these principles and looked at how I had looked at this garden, yeah, I knew where it was wet. I knew where I wanted to grow the fruit. Why? Because I knew it was the better place for the fruit to grow. So it's things like that. There's almost, you don't think of them about these as principles, but they're sort of embedded in you as a person, that you actually then do use them on a regular basis. So thank you. Do like, share and subscribe. It does help the channel grow. Do add some comments, and don't forget that on my website I now have the design kit for sale. I'm also going to be doing a webinar, probably not until May. I've got things I want to be doing in April, so look out for that. It's going to be on Eventbrite, so follow me on Eventbrite and you'll get notification of that. I will put the links down below to the 2 permaculture books, if anybody really wants to get into the detail of them. They're well worth reading in terms of opening your mind, particularly if you've got a larger site. And I think one point that I didn't bring out here, and I think I should do it, and I've mentioned it in one of the other videos, is that what you're not going to be dealing with on a daily basis can go further away from the house. Those things that you want to be dealing with on a daily basis, like for instance all my small plants over there, I need them close to the house. I need my herbs close to the house because I'm going to be picking them and using them in the cooking. My vegetable beds are up the other side of this wall. And but they're close enough. They're not a million miles away from where I am. So think about where you're going to put things in terms of how often you're going to use them as well. So I'm going to close because this has been going on quite a long time now. Enjoy, and happy gardening.